Do you know who the smartest character in One Piece is? Well, today we'll go over all One Piece characters and their IQs. And first up, the absolute dumbest character in the entire series with the least amount of IQ is obviously Gedatsu, with only an IQ of 60. Don't remember him? Well, if you didn't skip Skypiea, you would. Anyway, Gedatsu was one of Enel's priests, and sure, he's pretty strong, but he's also unbelievably dumb. Like, he seriously rolls his eyes so far back he can't see anything. He tries to talk with his lower lip stuck in his mouth. He literally forgets to breathe. And when he tries to explain things, he forgets to actually talk and just thinks instead. He also attacks his own teammates, walks into houses through windows, puts food in his ears, faces the wrong direction when talking to people, and he can't even cross his arms correctly. So yeah, you understand why this guy is the absolute dumbest in the entire series, right? But someone else who's also got a really low IQ is Edward Weevil, with only an IQ of 70. Yeah, this guy has no idea what's going on around him. I mean, he talks like a snot-nosed little baby. He doesn't realize his mom is constantly using him, and worst of all, he somehow can't even tell the difference between a picture and a mirror. Like, come on! So yeah, if Weevil really is Whitebeard's son, he definitely didn't inherit any of Whitebeard's brain power. Moving on from an IQ of 70 to an IQ of 85, we've got Luffy. Now sure, some of you might think this is way too low for Luffy, since he's actually a genius when it comes to battle IQ. And he's actually also really emotionally intelligent. I mean, going back to his battle IQ, we can't forget that Luffy literally studied Katakuri mid-fight and unlocked advanced observation haki in just hours. So because of his quick thinking in his fights, Luffy almost always finds some way to win. So sure, Luffy's battle IQ is really high, but come on, his intelligence is ridiculously low. I mean, this is the same guy who ate a poisonous fish and almost died. He also fell for Crocodile's super obvious trap that got the entire crew locked in a sea stone cage, got himself stuck between buildings, has very clear issues with directions, can't cook, can't draw, and let's not forget that he asked a literal zombie tree and a zombie unicorn to join the crew. Oh, and Kinemon's legs too. Plus, he didn't even know he had a dad. I can literally go on forever. So this guy just can't have a higher IQ than 85. But someone who does have a higher IQ than 85 with an IQ of 100 is actually Zoro. Now, I know that sounds insane coming from a guy who literally walks in the wrong direction even if you point him in the right direction. He also seriously can't go north and just goes the wrong way all the time. So you'd guess Zoro's IQ is like 10, right? But here's the thing, Zoro is actually really rational and makes very logical decisions most of the time. Like when Usopp left the crew, Zoro was the one who understood that respect for the captain mattered more than emotions when they wanted to bring him back. And at Whiskey Peak, he was the only one on the crew who didn't fall for the bounty hunter's trap and protected the entire crew. Oh, and when Vivi went missing and everyone was panicking, Zoro was calm and realized that Vivi was strong enough to survive on her own. So yeah, Zoro isn't as dumb as you might think. Then again, you gotta be stupid to be this bad at directions. Moving on, we've got Brook, and he's got an IQ of 110. Again, this guy might seem like a total idiot who literally only thinks about Nami's panties. But he's actually pretty smart. I mean, he's a musical prodigy, used to be the captain of his own pirate crew, and he was smart enough to steal the road poneglyphs right under Big Mom's nose. That said, he's not exactly a genius either, so he can't have a higher IQ than 110. So instead, let's talk about Jinbe, who's got 115 in IQ. Jinbe is not the smartest, but he's very rational, mature, and wise. Like after Ace's death and Luffy was absolutely crushed, Jinbe was the one who saved him. Yeah, he's just always level-headed and thinks before acting. But yeah, leaving Zoro to wander Onigashima alone was not that smart. And trying to interfere with Nami scolding Luffy, again, not that smart. Now, we gotta talk about Sanji, as he's got an IQ of 125. Yes, Sanji is actually ridiculously smart. And no, I'm not even talking about him being one of, if not the best chef in the entire world, I'm talking about his pure big brain plays. For example, back in Little Garden, when Sanji straight up tricked Crocodile into thinking the Straw Hats were dead and hijacked his communications, which literally saved the entire crew. Then at Eni's lobby, while everyone else was fighting for their lives, Sanji casually snuck off and sabotaged the gates of justice, creating a massive whirlpool that completely trapped the Marines. And even before that, he followed Robin onto the sea train by himself and actually would have saved her if he'd been stronger. And that's not even all of the insane big brain plays he's pulled off. Someone else, though, who's actually also got an IQ of 125 is Usopp. Yeah, Usopp being a coward actually proves he's pretty smart. Wait, what? Yep, this guy always knows when he's in danger, so that's why he either just runs for his life or hides, preferably behind Zoro. I mean, Usopp being alive right now is because he's got a big brain. He uses his cleverness to come up with plans, lies, traps, and tricks to take down his enemies. Like, just look at his fight against Luffy. Sure, he lost, but he made it a really good fight thanks to his insane strategies. So Usopp really gotta use his brain to win fights. Because in bronze, yeah, he'll definitely lose. On top of that, he's a really good inventor, always tinkering and coming up with new gadgets, like Nami's Climatact. Sure, he's not anywhere near Franky's level, but it's still really impressive. Moving on from Usopp, we've got Shanks with an IQ of 130. Yeah, some of you probably thought this guy was a straight-up genius, but honestly, not really. Now sure, Shanks is not a total idiot. Like, he was able to stop the Marineford War, and he's the captain of one of the strongest pirate crews in the world. That said, everyone knows this guy is not the smartest. Like when Shanks asked Marco to join his crew, Marco literally started laughing and said he'd never want to babysit another great pirate again. And Beckman, the actual brain of the crew, still gets amazed by Shanks' dumb moments. Like when Shanks panicked over Higuma kidnapping Luffy, even though he can literally just one-shot him. Or when he kept drinking even more while already hungover after Mihawk brought news of Luffy's bounty. So yeah, Shanks might seem super smart, but in reality, he's not. Now, we gotta talk about Chopper with an IQ of 135. We all know that Chopper is a brilliant doctor and a medical genius who can cure just about anything. Like, he was able to reverse engineer Queen's Ice Oni antidote super fast, which saved everyone. And of course, he created the Rumble Ball all by himself, which gives him all of these crazy transformations. But yeah, he's also sometimes pretty dumb. Like, I know it's a funny gag and all, but Chopper seriously didn't realize Usopp was Sogeking. He also believes all of Usopp's lies, like that time Usopp said he had 8,000 followers. He's not really stupid though, he's just so gullible. That said, when it comes to brains, medicine, and science, he's insanely smart. But someone who's even smarter with an IQ of 150 is Nami. This girl is an absolute genius when it comes to navigation. And she can read and predict weather patterns with crazy accuracy, dodge deadly storms, and guide the Sunny through the wildest conditions. On top of that, she's an exceptionally skilled cartographer. Like, she was literally making maps at 10 years old. Oh, and she's also a physics prodigy. We're talking thermodynamics, chemistry, geophysics, fluid mechanics, meteorology, etc. I mean, she took Usopp's party weapon to create literal rain, thunderclouds, lightning, and mirages. That's actually insane. She also handles all the crew's money, can cook pretty well, knows some basic medicine, and constantly outsmarts enemies by using strategy instead of brute force. And if you didn't know, Oda said that Nami is the third smartest character from the East Blue, meaning she's canonically smarter than Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, and Usopp. So yep, she's insanely smart, but she's not on the level of Captain Kuro, who's got an IQ of 160. Honestly, Captain Kuro is one of the most underrated minds in the series. Like, not only did Oda literally say that Kuro was the second smartest character in the entire East Blue, but he was a master strategist who had never once before failed in his village raids. He even faked his own death using a decoy which completely tricked the Marines, which also erased his bounty and stopped the Marines from hunting him. He was even nicknamed Kuro of the 100 Plans for his tactical genius. And I mean, his 3-year plan to be Kaya's butler, gain outstanding reputation in the town, have his crew attack the town while Django hypnotizes Kaya into handing Kuro all of her treasure, then take out his entire crew and live happily ever after, would have worked perfectly if it wasn't for Kuro being super weak and, well, really unlucky that Luffy and the gang were at Syrup Village when it was all going down. So, yeah, he's actually insanely smart, just catastrophically unlucky. Moving on, we gotta talk about Doflamingo with an IQ of 162. Honestly, the more you think about it, the smarter you realize Doflamingo actually is. So first, he becomes a notorious pirate, which made him connections. which he then used to get to Caesar Clown, sticks Monet with him to keep him in line, and he uses Caesar's Smile Fruit production to keep Kaido happy, which basically made Doflamingo untouchable, because no sane pirate would want to fight Kaido, right? He then built a massive underworld empire, and as a warlord, the Marines didn't even care about anything he did. He even planted Virgo inside the Marines as his inside man. Then comes Dressrosa, where he straight up hijacks the country by using his devil fruit to control King Riku and turn the people against him. After that, Doflamingo swoops in like a hero, stops the chaos, and becomes king. And if anyone tried to rebel, boom, Sugar's devil fruit erased them from existence. Oh, and during his fight with Luffy, he immediately figured out how Gear 4 works and its time limit. So yeah, Doflamingo is insanely smart. Now, we gotta talk about Franky, with 165 in IQ. This guy is an engineering genius and obviously an insanely good shipwright and carpenter who can build literally anything. Like, not only did he help build the Sunny, he also built General Franky, a super cool giant mech suit, and he built literal stairs in mid-air. But the most impressive thing he built is actually himself. Yeah, don't forget that even as just a teenager, after he got run over by the sea train and got absolutely crushed, he literally had to rebuild himself all on his own from just scrap metal. Yeah, he successfully replaced his organs and turned himself into a literal cyborg. That's insane! And now he's even smart enough to understand and reverse engineer tech made by Dr. Vegapunk, the guy said to be centuries ahead of modern science. Oh, and he can also make literal cannons powered by only cola. All that said, the smartest Straw Hat is definitely Nico Robin, with an IQ of 170. Robin became a certified archaeologist at just 8 years old, as she literally taught herself how to read the poneglyphs, which is insane. And after Ohara was blown up, she was on the run and surviving on her own, still at just 8 years old, literally escaping the Marines over and over with a huge bounty on her head. Yeah, she's literally a genius. But it doesn't stop there. Robin basically knows everything about the world, and she's always the one Luffy turns to when something confusing comes up. On top of that, she's a master strategist and escape artist. Even Aokiji admitted she could have escaped CP9 at Water 7 if she really wanted to. So yeah, Robin isn't just smart, she's a walking, talking encyclopedia, and she's easily the brains of the crew. And someone else who's got an IQ of 170 is Trafalgar Law. And first, we obviously gotta talk about him being a medical genius. He literally saved his own life by removing the incurable amber lead poisoning using his skills and the Opa Ope no Mi. And when you mix that fruit with his medical knowledge, he can do insane bloodless surgeries, remove poison, reattach organs, you name it. And let's not forget that Luffy and Jinbe only survived the Marineford War because Law operated on both of them at the same time. Oh, and he even removed Caesar's toxic drug out of the Punk Hazard kids, something that even Chopper was amazed by. Not only that though, but Law is also a master strategist. Like the whole alliance with Luffy to take down Kaido by first targeting Caesar and Doflamingo, that was his plan. So even when Law isn't overpowering enemies with his insane strength, he's beating them with his brain instead. Moving on, we've actually got Ben Beckman, and he's got an IQ of 172. Yep, Oda even said that Beckman had the highest IQ in the series. Well, kinda. What Oda actually said was that he had the highest IQ among the characters we'd seen so far in the series, and this was back in the East Blue arc. So sure, Beckman is the smartest character from the East Blue, and his brains combined with his strength make him the perfect right-hand man for Shanks. But yeah, we've basically not seen Beckman do anything yet other than scaring Kizaru. So we know he's smart, but we haven't seen how smart just yet. Next up, with an IQ of 175, is Sengoku. The man is a living legend, not just because of his crazy strength, but because of his insane tactical brain. Yeah, Sengoku led the Marines through the Great Pirate Era, and everyone, both pirates and Marines, respected his genius strategies. And we could all see this guy's insane intelligence in action during the Marineford War, as he was pulling strings the whole time. Like moving up Ace's execution to throw off the pirate forces, or secretly break the alliance between Whitebeard's crew and all the other pirates, which even led to Whitebeard being stabbed by his own. Then he unleashed the pacifistas to target only the non-Whitebeard pirates to absolutely crush their morale, and perfectly timed the closing of Marineford's walls with Aka Inu's magma attack to trap everyone inside. Yeah, Sengoku was 10 steps ahead the entire war, Like even Whitebeard himself was glazing him during the war, saying what a genius Sengoku is. Moving on, we've got Queen, and this guy has an IQ of 180. Now, Queen definitely doesn't act like a genius. I mean, he's out here dancing and screaming at people. But don't let that fool you. Queen is an extremely talented scientist, inventor, and mechanic who specializes in biological weapons. He's called the Plague because of the insane viruses he creates, like the Mummy and the Ice Oni virus, which would have taken out everyone at Wano if Chopper didn't reverse engineer the antidote and save them all. Plus, Queen modified his own body with crazy cybernetics and even stuffed his zone form full of weapons and tech. But someone even smarter than Queen, that's his former colleague, Caesar Clown, as he's got an IQ of 198. The guy's a straight-up genius scientist and chemist, creating biological and chemical weapons so dangerous that even Vegapunk was scared of him. Just look at what happened to Punk Hazard, completely ruined by his experiments. He's made insanely destructive weapons, including the living gas weapon Smiley. He's even managed to turn normal humans into giants, something even Vegapunk couldn't pull off, which is wild. But the craziest thing Caesar did, that was creating literal artificial devil fruits, the Smile Fruits. Oh, and on top of all that, he even helped Chopper upgrade the Rumble Ball so Monster Point could last way longer. So yeah, Caesar is just a genius. Someone smarter than Caesar though is Vinsmoke Judge, and he's got an IQ of 200. I know, we all hate this guy for being one of the worst fathers ever, but that said, I gotta admit that he's insanely smart. Yeah, Judge was known as a brilliant scientist and part of MADS, and I can clearly see why. I mean, this guy has been able to create an entire army of human clones that can fight. He's also genetically modified his own kids to turn them into super soldiers with ridiculous physical abilities, and he even created these insanely powerful raid suits. Sure, the only downside is that his kids lost their emotions, but Judge probably saw that as something really good. Although Sanji isn't an emotionless monster, and that's all thanks to his mother Sora for interfering with Sanji's modifications. So yeah, terrible father, but easily one of the smartest people in the entire world. But the absolute smartest, with an IQ of over 300, is of course Dr. Vegapunk. I mean, with his devil fruit, his IQ could literally go beyond 1000. Yeah, Vegapunk is known as the world's smartest man, but this guy isn't just smart, he's a certified genius. Thanks to his brain fruit, he can store unlimited knowledge in his brain and recall everything with perfect memory. His intelligence is so far ahead, people say he's 500 years into the future. Like, this guy has literally invented everything. From the Seraphim, the Pacifistas, holograms, and oh yeah, the Mother Flame. That insane energy source Emu used to wipe Lulusia off the map. Crazy, right? And don't forget Punk Records, which literally stores Vegapunk's brain and acts as a library which each of his 6 satellites can plug into to share the same brain. Plus, Vegapunk literally looks like Einstein, so he's of course the smartest. Now, who do you think is the smartest in the Straw Hats? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and watch this video next.